I don't want to. Oh, I was about to say I don't want to crash the boat, and I just crashed. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. So with VORTEX 34, in my last video, we bent our swoop fin, and that's a true bummer because I absolutely loved this fin, and I really don't think there's much saving it. Ugh. So I just installed a Mojo Sport 20, and it actually looks like it suits the boat much better. Occasionally with this fin right here, it would actually lose grip in a turn, like the fin would actually come out the water occasionally, simply because the fin was short, maybe a little too small. So I really think this one's going to be better suited for the boat. I do. I really do. When we hit the hill, we broke our nipple off in the rudder. So we're going to use a screw extractor to get that threaded nipple out. And you can do this for ESCs that a nipple breaks off on, water jackets, etc. I typically have two sizes that I use the most. Okay, two sizes, and I actually drill the tip off those two sizes to fit each application that I need it for. Okay, you could also get a set that comes in different sizes. Now I don't use these quite as much. I have used them, but I don't use them often. I typically like these long skinny ones. That's what I typically use, you know, and I just find the one that fits the best. A lot of times you're going to need to use some heat to heat up the thread in the area, because you probably use Loctite on it, or the factory used Loctite. I'm going to go ahead and heat it up. We'll let it soak for a second while we get this thing prepped up here. You'll need like a some type of handle. I have a few different ones. This one right here I tend to use the most. Put your screw extractor in. Sometimes you may need to tap it in, you know. There we go. Yeah, that heat actually sent it over the top, you know. Boom. I use blue thread locker on my nipples. It helps make it watertight, and it prevents it from backing out. So I got the Deltaforce flipped over, and I got the fin on the bracket, my Mojo fin. I took the swoop off, and I'm just checking to make sure my bracket didn't get bent when we popped over the hill. So it actually looks pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Right. So I was actually kind of cleaning up my bracket before I install it, because that salt water behind the fin, you know, in between the fin and the bracket, it does a number, right? So I just lost my M4. But this is the mount that I created when I built the boat. It's been a pretty good mount. Top hole's elongated. It hadn't bent on me, so pretty happy with it. I'm actually using an M5 in combination with an M4. Okay, I wanted to go M5. The turn fins drilled for an M5, but I decided to go M4 right here. If I drilled it out M5, it may actually weaken our connection point. So I just went M4. I wanted to make sure the pivot point, there's no slop in that pivot point, you know, none. Like it needs to be tight. And then back here I was, you know, it's adjustable, right? So I figured going slightly smaller wouldn't hurt nothing. So what I'll do is I'll use a heavy duty M4 with the big head, and I'll use a nice thick stainless steel washer, and we shouldn't run into any issues. Okay, so that's going to give us our adjustability. Alright, so I need to actually, well, I need to find that washer I just lost, and I need to go ahead and finish up cleaning up my bracket here so we can get this thing on the boat. I was actually looking at this fin. I've had it for about a year. It's been in my storage box for a year, which is stationary. It don't get moved around. And I didn't notice this when I got the fin, and I don't think I did anything to damage the fin. But I was actually using this Nicholson fine right here file, and I was just kind of cleaning up the leading edge all the way around, and the trailing edge, just making sure it was flat. Kind of knocked any burrs off of it with this fine file from Bam Racing. Alan, appreciate it. I love this file. But I was cleaning it up, and I was like, man, something just don't seem right here. Just don't look right to me. So I ended up putting a ruler on this fin. It's flat right there, and then, oh, you see right here? See right here? You see that? You see the light under it? Mojo fin. You know, everything else seems pretty flat right here, and there's really nothing I can do to clean up this bend area right here. Let me see if I can kind of polish this up. You can kind of see where they bent it, and it didn't really get a good, like, it didn't bend the whole fin. Yeah, you can see it right in here, and that's like right there is the only area. So I don't know if that's going to mess up the performance. We're going to run it. We're going to run it because it's actually dipped out, you know. So I was actually taking my file, trying to clean up some of that, kind of, you know, not disguise it, but kind of clean it up anyway, you know. So it don't want to, like, scoop water. Actually, it's not going to scoop water. It's actually going to want to pull. The leading edge is the only area it's bent, and it's actually it's going to want to pull it down. So we'll see. We'll see. It's not real bad, and I've run fins that had something like that in it. So we'll see how it does, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up. Quit jacking my jaws, I apologize. I was cleaning up my bracket, and my first thought, because it was pretty corroded, you know, it had a bunch of nasty on it. My first thought was to hit it with the sandpaper like I did the other side. You know, the other side I put it on there like this, and it cleaned it up pretty nice for me. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just do this number here on the inside. But that's where I mount my fin. You know, that's where my fin's gonna get mounted. So if I were to take sandpaper to that flat face right there, it may actually put imperfections in it, and when I mount my fin nice and tight, it may actually want to bend the fin in certain areas, you know, which it probably wouldn't if I were to hit it with sandpaper. So anyway, what I'm using is this green scrubbing pad, which I use a lot on my boats. I use it all the time. I have a lot of different things that I use this for, and it works pretty good for cleaning up stuff. Not the hull. You can't hit the hull. I've actually used it on the bottom of my hull, like roughing up the bottom slightly on certain boats, just to give myself a little texture down there so it breaks the surface tension slightly. But I use this green pad on all kind of things on my hulls, and it's good stuff to have around, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this fin. It's just easier while I have it off the boat. I'll go ahead and tighten this bad boy down. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one on. Okay, before I put this on the boat, while I have it free, I'm gonna take, it's a scissor sharpening file. So I'm just gonna take it on this inside because I do feel a couple burrs from hitting it with a file. I'm gonna hit it. Boom. That feels good. Got one right there. And I just used this to polish up this stainless. I didn't take it out to the polisher. I could, but I actually kind of like that finish right there, that fine finish, satin finish. You know, I kind of like it. Lightly on that trailing edge there. You want a nice crisp angle back here, so I'm just knocking any burrs off. Nice flat back so the water breaks off of it clean. Yeah, that's sharp. That's pretty sharp. Right? Nice sharp trailing edge. Along with a sharp leading edge. You know? Okay. So I actually use this guy with a little aluminum washer on there for my adjustment. And then the bottom one, I don't put a washer on it. I probably should, but I'm not. Right? Boom. So before I put this on the boat, I'm going to put a light coat of silicone back here. So this is an adjustable bracket. But I'm just going to put a little silicone, very light, just to create like a little gasket to help with water intrusion. Probably optional. Most guys probably don't do this. Very light. Okay. Super light there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put myself some blue Loctite. This will also help waterproof and keep the screws where they are supposed to be. I have a nylon locking nut in my nut plate, but I'm sure it's getting wore out, you know, by now. So we're going to use a little Loctite. Don't want to put too damn much Loctite because you got to get this bracket pretty tight, and if you go to try to loosen it up and there's too much Loctite, we could break our nut plate loose, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this on, and then we'll get it set up. Okay, so I got a couple of lines drawn on my fin. We'll get the angle set later, but for the time being, I got both of these cinched down pretty tight. I got me a little clamp here. You're gonna have to trust me that I have this level box zeroed out. Okay, so that'll kind of give us our camber angle. Okay, so I was messing with it off camera just now, and as I tighten this up, as I tighten this top adjustment bolt up, it would actually, like, as I turn the screw would actually mess with the angle of the fin. So I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you my fix. So when this fin is at a zero position, where pretty much where it's at now, my screw is really close to the curve on the inside of this bracket. Now, I've actually filed most all the curve out, so it's kind of a 90, right? But as I tighten, or it did it a while ago, let's see if it does it now. As I get this tight, watch the level box there. As I get this tight, it's actually, see it? You see that? I'm tightening it up, and it's actually got a yeah. I'm not hitting the bracket. I'm not pushing on the bracket. As I tighten it, it's actually putting lean on it, okay? So we can't necessarily have that. So I think I got a solution. As I said, the inside of this bracket has a curve on it. My 0 degree adjustment is, well, the screw head is actually really close to the curve. So what I couldn't necessarily put a washer on it because the washer would actually like run into the curve. So I'm thinking if I cut this washer out there on a grinder, and the washer will kind of sit up against that curve, right? It'll keep the washer in place, and then the screw should just spin on this stainless steel washer. Okay, so I actually have, I was messing with it off camera here, and I have my flat washer on, and I got my level box pretty much zeroed out. I got the clamp 0 like centered on the box, and I think our stainless flat washer is gonna work. Okay, pretty sure. I've actually just been messing with it, and it seemed to be working much better. Like, so before when I would tighten this up, it would actually, like, it, when I got it good and tight, it leaned it in like 2 degrees. So right now I'm actually starting with my fin leaned out. I'm gonna start it around 0.35 lean out, and then as I tighten it, it seemed like it was actually helping dramatically. So let's see. I gotta get it good and tight here. Okay, so it's at 0 now. Okay. Okay, so that's 0.30 lean in, camber in. Okay, I got it good and tight, so I'm actually going to loosen it up. I'm going to come out. It's way better than 2 degrees as I tighten it, so I'm going to come out to 0.65 out, and then hopefully as I tighten it, it'll land on a 0 here. Yeah. Boom. Done. Yeah, that's good and tight. Okay, so I got Loctite on it, and that flat washer on that inside corner there that's rounded, kind of held in place, and we only got 1/2 degree lean as I was tightening it. So I compensated for an outside lean. I tightened it down, and it tightened it down to a 0 position on my level box, which is exactly what I want. Okay, that's absolutely perfect in my eye with this fin. I was playing around with it, and it looks like when this boat is in a turn and the fin is actually loaded up, it looks like it's gonna put some flex in the fin. So in a turn, I'm thinking it's gonna flex, and we'll have about 0.30 lean out. You know, I don't think it'll give us 1/2 degree lean out because I'm actually putting some pressure on it, but it's definitely gonna lean the fin out in a turn. But in a straight line is where I want it to be zeroed out at, you know. We may actually in the future put about 0.40, almost a half a degree lean in, camber in. So when the boat's in a turn, it's loaded up, it will load up to a 0 up and down position, you know. So for our first test, we'll run it at 0, and I've actually made a couple of lines on my fin here. Well, that one's about gone, but this is the main one, and I've actually got it set up. I went ahead and did it. So I put my main line like where the glass is, where my ride surface is. So I tried to match my line up to the curve, so maybe you guys can see it with the light if I do this number here, or maybe not. Yeah, you see that? So I got that line matched up to the curve. Okay, you see that? So I'm going to start off with a level turn fin position. Eventually, I'll probably end up running some angle like this. What is this? When you angle your turn fin to lift up this right hand sponson, what is that called? I keep trying to research it, and I can't really find much information. So if I position my fin like this, and it's in a position where it lifts this side up, is that a positive position or a negative position? I'm gonna say negative. So I want to actually run it to where it actually slightly picks this side up, because when you're running decent sized props, it actually puts pressure on this side, and it actually wants to lift this side up. So if you actually put a little angle on it to where it lifts this side up, it'll keep that side down in a straight, and it will actually somewhat, if you get it set right, it'll actually kind of float, you know. It will almost fly where the sponsons are barely touching every now and then. So that's the tune that I want to get on it eventually, but initially we'll run pretty much a level turn fin position. I'm thinking with that little bad area on the fin, I'm thinking this level turn fin position, since that bad area is actually swooped down a little bit, I'm thinking it's going to want to pull this side down. So we'll probably end up kind of going up like this. So what I'm going to do, so I can actually adjust it out in the field, I actually it's pretty level with my turn fin bracket, so I'll use that as a reference, and I'll actually mark my fin right here. That way I know where I'm at, because it's kind of hard to get this level box on the fin because of this overhang right here, you know. So I actually need to go to the welding shop, my local welding shop, and pick up some scrap sheet metal. Yeah, it's teeter-totting, so that's not a real accurate measurement. So I got that set up. Yeah, I want to go to my local welding shop, get some sheet metal, because I want to make another fin like this, a parallelogram fin. I want to make a small one and another one this size, one for this boat, and then one for my H26. I also want to try my hand at making a swoop fin, so I'm going to pick up some, probably some 3/64 stainless, or some like 2mm aluminum. This fin right here is for my oxy digger, but I actually bent this fin in the wrong place. I bent it. I put the bend in it. It's like this, and the bend should have been pretty much parallel with these holes. So on my outrigger, I can't really get the fin angled right. It's just wanting to pull the sponson down because of where I put the bend. So I think I'm going to cut this fin. I'm going to cut it like this. I'll cut the top to match the bend profile, and we'll run this fin on this boat. Yeah, because I got a pretty good bend on it, I think. Same thing happened to this fin that's going on with this one. When I bent it, it was sharpened first, so it bent real nice right here, and then right in there where you see those scuffs at, it's kind of bent down. So anyway, I want to turn this into a hydroplane fin. You know, it'll be a good one. I think it'll be a great hydro fin. So that's something I'm going to do probably this week, hopefully, if I remember. All right, well, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We got the nipple fixed. Oh yeah, I actually cut this rudder down today, so I'll actually include a clip here. I went ahead, chamfered the edge, the bottom edge where I cut it. Can you see that little chamfer? I knocked the burrs off the leading edge, and I slightly rounded the bottom leading edge corner. I tried to cut a flat, not angled. You can get some lifting sensation if you angle it, and keep it flat without chamfering the edge. Chamfering the edge, I think it reduces the amount of lift you get from the rudder. So I went ahead and chamfered it. Four and 3/4, and then I actually have about 2.5 inches below the ride surface. So I think I cut about 1 inch off of it total. Maybe not, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So that looks much better, you know. So appreciate you guys watching. Can't wait to take this thing back out. See you guys next time. Big B, we're Ironclade RC.